Alright, what up, what up? You are listening to The Brycen Show. And it is February 19th, 2013. And let's see here. Let's check out what's going on in the news today. I'm sure it'll be something interesting. It always is. Okay, this is from the Telegraph. Armed robbers snatch 50 million in uncut diamonds from Brussels airport. Police forces in Europe were hunting for a 32 million pound, $50 million stash of diamonds stolen by 8 armed robbers disguised as police officers in an overnight raid at Brussels airport. This is by Bruno Waterfield, Brussels. The raid at Zaventem International Airport is one of the biggest diamond robberies in history. It took a highly trained professional gang just 3 minutes to hold up a Swiss passenger jet before escaping into the night. Belgian police were baffled by a robbery that took place with precision, military timing, and apparent insider knowledge, allowing the gang to aim for the delivery of a diamond consignment within a 15-minute time window. Wearing masks, hooded police, anoraks. Never seen that one before. Wearing masks, hooded police anoraks, and armed with machine guns equipped with laser sights, the robbers struck at 7:47 p.m. local time on Monday night, just before the aircraft they sought was cleared for takeoff. The gang's target was a Brycen diamond and jewelry services truck that had just finished loading the 8:05 p.m. Helvetic Airways flight 2L789 bound for Zurich. For security reasons, the valuable cargo is loaded on the runway just minutes before the plane takes off. After cutting through a security perimeter fence near the Swiss Fokker 100 airline, the robbers used 2 black vehicles, a Mercedes van and an Audi car, both equipped with blue flashing police lights, to race across the airport tarmac. Coming to a halt alongside the Brycen van and the passenger jet, 4 armed men left each vehicle and held up the aircraft's pilot, co-pilot, and security guards. Alright, you get the point, but that's pretty wild. 50 million in diamonds. Yep. Living large, lodging in charge now. Alright, and one of my favorites, paranormalnews.com. We ought to have some fun with this. Let's see here. Oh Lord. Strange alien slime appears after meteor strike. Here's a strange gooey substance has been appearing all over the Somerset Nature Reserve that's about 1,000 miles away from Russia. The mysterious substances have been showing up ever since the meteor event in Russia a few days ago. Both the tourists of the reserve as well as the workers there have described the slimes resembling something living. There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There are now living slimes, the blob, coming from a meteor in Russia, apparently. Let's see here. Alright. Mysterious incidents reported from 50 counties in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This is by Stan Gordon. The year 2012 was very active with reported sightings of unidentified flying objects and encounters with strange creatures, as well as other mysterious events, as reported from residents from across the Keystone State. You know, just reading that line, you go out and walk around, and it really doesn't surprise me that people would claim to have encounters with strange creatures. It really doesn't. Anyway, Pennsylvania has a long history of strange occurrences. The year was filled with observations of triangular, disc, and boomerang-shaped objects, as well as formations of luminous globes. Information concerning strange incidents during 2012 came to my attention from 50 counties from across the state of Pennsylvania. I also received reports from the neighboring states of Ohio, West Virginia, and Maryland as well. Many witnesses of UFO sightings, strange animal encounters, or other unusual incidents contact me directly or report to other independent researchers or research organizations. Some of these sources include Peter Davenport's National UFO Reporting Center, the Pennsylvania chapter of MUFON, and the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society, many of whom I am in contact with. As in past years, sightings of UFOs were responsible for the majority of strange events reported. During the 2012 year, however, there were numerous encounters reported with various types of strange creatures, among which also included Bigfoot, giant flying creatures, and Black Panther observations. Many other types of strange events also came to my attention, including the mystery booms, strange footprints and sounds, odd photographic images, and enigmatic clouds and patterns in the sky. Let's see. I'm going to skip ahead here. During the early morning hours of April 4th, a 30 to 40 foot diameter metallic saucer-shaped object with square windows hovered 30 feet above a house in a suburb of Pittsburgh. In another instance, on the evening of May 7th, a man was sitting in the living room of his Washington County home when the room became illuminated from a light shining in the window. The light was emitted from a vertical football-shaped object hovering about 100 feet away that also had two unusual light arrays on it. A huge elongated object covered with numerous lights was observed hovering over trees along a major highway near Waynesburg on November 24th. The witness, who had been in the military, had never seen anything like that before and was quite alarmed. Interesting stuff. But, the UFO phenomena is such a vast subject, really. And crazily enough, at one point in time, I was a MUFON member. I never really did any actual investigating or anything, but it's kind of a weird situation from what I understand. Initially, it was pretty cool, really, and it's divided up into chapters, and I was on a message board and everything, and actually there's a lot of good stuff on there, a lot of cool people. And then I started hearing rumors that there was some sort of issue. And you hear about these things. A lot of it comes from, there's conventions you go to. I've been to a few UFO conventions, and this was kind of a subject. And then you know how it is. You hear about it once, and you start to see it. But I started hearing rumors and reading rumors that anytime anybody would ever get a really good picture of something or good video footage, and of course they're part of MUFON, so they're pretty much obligated to turn it over to them to do the investigations. But I understand it's the UFO community, and there's a lot of strange people in there. Probably some people with some screws loose, but I don't know. It's too common of a story to me to be totally made up. But if I could ever get to it, the friggin' point of the story is that, these people would get these great pictures, great evidence, and they would submit it to be reviewed, and they would just never hear anything about it again. And since you're in MUFON, they basically take all your footage, and it goes into some vault somewhere, Indiana Jones style. So it always kind of makes you wonder. And also, I've heard and done some reading on that the CIA, for some reason or another, is it the CIA or NASA? I can't remember. I want to say NASA now that I'm thinking about it. But there was something where NASA has MUFON give them or make reports to them at a certain, interval, I don't know, yearly, bi-yearly report on all their findings. And now, gosh, I haven't heard anything about this story in a while, and I'm not even sure if it's accurate anymore. At one point in time, I read that Bigelow Industries was basically an investor in NASA, and they were real big into it. Remember, this is when all the talk of what was going to happen with NASA and if they were going to privatize it or whatever because the government couldn't afford it or whatnot. But yeah, during those days, there was a corporation named Bigelow Industries, and they were supposed to be a major investor in NASA. They were going to do the next space shuttle, the first corporate space shuttle or whatnot. And I really don't know if anything ever happened with that. But from what I remember, is that the corporate CEO or whatever, the owner of Bigelow Corporations, was real interested in what MUFON had to say, and I believe wanted him to funnel information, if I remember correctly. I don't know. This could be total hogwash, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I remember reading that. But anyways, let's see what else we got here. We can go to CNN World News. Pope Benedict makes first appearance since resignation. Huge crowds in the Vatican cheered Pope Benedict. Was it the 16th? On Wednesday as he made his first... Gosh, jeez. I should read these before I do this. On Wednesday as he made his first public appearance since announcing his resignation at the end of the month. He thanked the Roman Catholic faithful in several languages and said it was not appropriate for him to continue as Pope. Quote, I've decided to resign the ministry given to me by the Lord. I've done this in full freedom for the benefit of the Church. Quote, end quote. He told those gathered in a Vatican City audience hall for his regular weekly appearance. You know, that's such a Catholic Church. That's such a Catholic Church reaction. They're always so sly about everything. Like, it's the most politically perfect statement ever. I've decided to resign the ministry. And he just tells us that he did it of his own accord and for the benefit of the organization. To continue, Benedict said he is fully aware of the gravity of his decision, but he could not carry on as Pope, quote, if I don't have the strength that it requires. He appeared tired but not visibly unwell as he sat and read his remarks off several sheets of paper. Benedict later celebrated an Ash Wednesday Mass that marked the beginning of Lent at St. Peter's Basilica in the afternoon. How old is this article? Yeah, this is from February 13th. This can't be the right one. Huh. Well, 6 days later. Sorry about that, guys. I just pulled it on Infowars.com. Okay. Let's go to Breitbart.com. Menendez meets with Karzai to talk. Corruption. Today, Senator Bob Menendez, Democrat from New Jersey, who is under heavy scrutiny for his role in a wide-ranging scandal involving corruption and prostitution, visited with Afghan President Hamid Karzai to talk about curbing corruption. The meeting at the presidential palace focused on Afghan-U.S. relations, the peace process with the Taliban, and electoral issues surrounding the upcoming presidential contest. According to Karzai's office, quote, President Karzai said that Afghanistan needs earnest and sincere cooperation of the international community, particularly of the United States in its fight against corruption. The president called awarding of contracts to relatives and affiliates of Afghan senior officials a major source of corruption, underscoring that the United States should avoid it. The irony in the room must have been thick. Menendez is heavily connected with donor Solomon Melgen, who allegedly helped Menendez jet set to the Dominican Republic to have fun with hookers. Menendez, meanwhile, lobbied the federal government on behalf of Melgen when they came knocking about Melgen's bilking Medicare. Menendez's aide also worked for Melgen's port security firm, a firm which Menendez also lobbied. Menendez is the chairman of the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. And no, that isn't a pun. If I could learn how to read, this would probably go over a lot better. But yeah, like that story goes. Yeah, I mean, I wish it surprised me anymore. It's like every day we see the same kind of things. It just seems so rapid anymore, though. It's like boom, 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 boom. So, how was everybody's day today? My day was alright. I went to work. And, it was a slow night as usual. Pretty damn boring. And I was sitting there at work, and I was thinking to myself, there's a game that I didn't finish. And I really wish I would have. So I was driving home today, or tonight. I was thinking to myself, gee, why did I never finish that game? It was a freaking great game. The game is called Terranigma. And if I can figure this out, I can tell you about the game while I'm playing it. Alright. Alright, not what I wanted, of course. Every time I get on here, it's like this is a whole different freaking system I'm working. I get it. Sorry, guys. Listeners, I am the idiot again. Alright. The name of this game is Terranigma. Okay, this game is frickin' bad. Hopefully, I'm not going to blow the speakers out here. Anyways, let's see what we can do. What kind of damage we can do. Oh yeah, listen to that music. Get ready. It's that big. Yeah, that was a little bit of a letdown, I'm sure. Anyways, alright, this lady's making me stay at the end. I'm staying. But, no, this game's freaking cool, guys. I guess I'd maybe compare it to Legend of Zelda, but not really. Like, right, I'm gonna go up to this guy, and this guy is an economist that lives in the town. And each town, this is like a reoccurring character that happens in each town. His name's Kynes, and it says, "I'm an economist, and I forecast the growth of towns." And something that's real important in this game is that you'll finish these little side quests. Basically, you'll make little decisions in the town. And what'll happen is like time will pass and the town will become more advanced. God, I wish I knew what I was doing right now. But anyways, so yeah, it's like Zelda, you get items and stuff, but what's really cool about this game is the battle system. And I don't know what it is, but I have like 8 moves, and it never gets old. Hopefully I can find somewhere to show my moves. Yeah, listen to that music, guys. Good stuff. Anyways, I'm gonna turn this stupid game off. I just thought I'd give you a little dose. That's a good game to check out. Let's see here. Well, I'm still putting this show together. It's really become a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. There's got to be a better way to do it. I just haven't. I need to upgrade some kind of software. So if anybody ever listens to this and has suggestions, just an easy movie making software, but with a lot of options, if there is such a thing, the perfect combo. Let's see here. What else happened today? Well, something that's really been bugging me. I might as well get it off my chest. Maybe go on a rant. But, something that just gets under my skin. I know it's a human quality. I know everybody does it. I do it myself. But why do people insist on discussing and having supposed learned conversations on things they have no clue what the hell they're talking about? It's like, it's happened to me before at the gas station. Someone tries to suggest to me beer to drink, and myself, I'm like a craft beer, optimum, best scenario, I'm going to drink a Guinness, is basically what it is. And I'm in the gas station, this guy comes up to me and he's like, Guinness? That shit's nasty. You need to try, God, what's it called? Michelob, what was it? Michelob Amber Ale. I believe it is the Michelob Amber Ale. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I mean, I like to drink beer. I understand the difference between the Amber Ale and the Guinness. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, if you like Guinness, you're going to like Michelob Amber Ale. Amberbach is what it's called. Not Amber Ale, the Amberbach. And yeah, I like both beers, but it's just an example. Like, it absolutely amazes me the amount of comments that people make on things that they're totally unlearned on. Let's take the Bible, for instance. How many people have opinions on the Bible? How many people have actually read the Bible cover to cover? And I really don't know if I've ever met someone that's read the Bible cover to cover and told me that it's just bullshit. Generally, someone in that situation, even if they don't believe in the divine supernatural aspects of it, will always say that there is great and almost unlimited amount of wisdom in that book. So really, and people want to say, well, what about Noah's flood? I know you guys are getting tired of me clearing my throat into the mic. I'm truly sorry. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, people always want to bring up like the flood of Noah or the parting of the Red Seas. Like, do you really believe that happened? Well, I mean, why not? For one, the Red Sea, there's a little bit of a controversy whether that should be translated as the Sea of Reeds. Why? Because in the Sea of Reeds, there's a part of the season where the water is extraordinarily low, and they'll have like windstorms come through, and it would reproduce the effect of the seas being parted. Okay, and also if you see on a map where they supposedly crossed the Red Sea, you would see that gosh, I wish I could remember the geographical term for it. But it's a part where the waters come together, and there's a bit of land, depending on the water levels. So it's entirely possible that the parting of the Red Sea was a completely physical, geological, meteorological phenomena. But yeah, and it goes the same way. People that believe in the Bible, they've never read it, and in that, it's just as crazy to me. Like, how can you have an opinion on something that you've never read? Anyways, now that I got that off my chest, jeez, what should I even talk about? This is a little bit more difficult than I'd imagined. It's probably much more eventful for me to do it in the morning. I'm a little bit more in the mood. But, let's see here. Let's talk about the book Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper. This book, it's pretty interesting. It's definitely a must-read. And what's interesting about it, probably the most interesting part, is how so many of these things, I don't know when this book is actually written, 1991 it looks like. And you look at like the conspiracy theory movements today, Alex Jones, InfoWars, Jeff Rentz. And in my opinion, this guy was almost a step above him. Well, I'll go ahead and say it, yeah, he was a lot better. Why? Because he was much harder to convince. He wouldn't just go on the air and start saying some bullshit. Most everything he ever talked about is pretty easily documented. God, he did 30 hours on the Mystery Babylon series, like I'll have my own Mystery Babylon series going. But it was like 30 or 40 hours long. And yeah, it was definitely a highlight of my research and studying, for sure. I've listened to him at least twice, so that's 80 hours of William Cooper Mystery Babylon. But what's interesting about this book is that this is in a time period earlier in William Cooper's career where he was a lot warmer to the idea of the UFO phenomena being extraterrestrial, because towards the end of it, I think he pretty much convinced himself yep, again, sorry, I think he pretty much convinced himself that it was primarily, and maybe totally, government driven. He claims, and I'm pretty sure it's accurate, he was one of the first people that was real big into the Area 51 thing. And yeah, he would take people out there, and they would go and they'd have experiences. It didn't happen every time, but yeah, they would sit out there at night and people would watch UFOs freaking flying around. And I'm using UFO in the technical sense because, who knows what they really are. I don't know. It alarms me that so many people jump to the conclusion that there's actually aliens inside of them. Who knows what it could be? It really could be anything. Let's see here. I'm going to read something out of here. Appendix B, UFOs in Area 51, page 397. see here. Dear Sirs, and this is the Appendix B in William Cooper's book Behold a Pale Horse. Dear Sirs, June 13th, 1987. Dear Sirs, although I missed your very recent radio and TV shows, a friend suggested that I write this letter and share my information with you. I am 50 years of age, engineer that has worked in the private sector as well as with the government. From 1975 to 1980, I was involved with several investigations having to do with ET material. Even though the project was very well covered, I am still very much surprised that Project Pluto and results have not surfaced yet. Inasmuch as the project was handled by others, there was no question that the government was in full control. For security purposes, Project Pluto had 5 levels. Those who investigated one level had nothing to do with the next, and would only turn in the results of data of these findings to the next level, then go on to another area. So, we have some sort of compartmentalized pyramid scheme, whatnot. No one that I ever knew had the results of 2 levels at the same time. There was only one very rare exception to the rule, which took place in 1975, and was in fact my very first assignment with the project. I was employed by a non-government firm that of course was directly involved with the government, and probably fronted for them on the projects. I would assume that eventually government records could be made available to the general public, but not from the private sector. I'm not really sure. In any event, several others and myself were rushed to a rather remote place in upstate Pennsylvania. We were informed that everything was top secret, and had to remain that way. We were even housed in a hotel close by, and security people were assigned to us. Some type of aircraft had crashed in this area, and the government felt that it would be easier and faster to do all of their investigation right there rather than to move the remains of the wreck and whatever evidence the soil may contain. The wreck site was rather difficult to get to. However, we turned it into a construction site, clearing the area and building 2 small and 1 very large prefab buildings over and around the wreck. Heavy equipment, materials, and workers were flown in and out on a daily basis. We were moved from the hotel to some mobile homes that were brought in for us, and many more top-level people who joined us. I might add that the local people who still lived some distance from the site were led to believe that a large private corporation was preparing to build an electrical power supply for the area, but it was off limits to everyone in the area. See if I can skip into some good. Okay, this is my dear friend, I have just returned from Muroc. The report is true, devastatingly true. I made the journey in company with Franklin Allen of the Hearst Papers and Edwin Norse of Brookings Institute and Bishop McIntyre of L.A. When we were allowed to enter the restricted section, after about 6 hours in which we were checked on every possible item, event, incident, and aspect of our personal and public lives, I had the distinct feeling that the world had come to an end with fantastic realism. For I have never seen so many human beings in a state of complete collapse and confusion as they realized that their own world had indeed ended, with such finality as to beggar description. The reality of, quote, other plane, aeroforms, is now and forever removed from the realms of speculation and made a rather painful part of the consciousness of every responsible scientific and political group. During my day's visit, I saw 5 separate and distinct types of aircraft being studied and handled by our Air Force officials, with the assistance and permissions of the Etherians. So I guess I'm assuming whoever he's writing to knows who the Ethereans are, because these are appendixes out of William Cooper's book, and a lot of them are just these documents that he's acquired somehow. Whether it's freedom of information, word of mouth, I don't know. But anyways, I have no words to express my reactions. It has finally happened. It is now a matter of history. President Eisenhower, as you may already know, was spirited over to Morocco one night during his visit to Palm Springs recently, and it is my conviction that he will ignore the terrific conflict between the various authorities and go directly to the people via radio and television, if the impasse continues much longer. From what I could gather, an official statement to the country is being prepared for delivery about the middle of May. I will leave it to your own excellent powers of deduction to construct a fitting picture of the mental and emotional pandemonium that is now shattering the consciousness of hundreds of our scientific authorities, and all the pundits of the various specialized knowledges that make up our current physics. In some instances, I could not stifle a wave of pity that arose in my own being as I watched the pathetic bewilderment of rather brilliant brains struggling to make some sort of rational explanation which would enable them to retain their familiar theories and concepts. And I thanked my own destiny for having long ago pushed me into the metaphysical woods and compelled me to find my way out. To watch strong minds cringe before totally irreconcilable wow, Bryce. Before totally irreconcilable aspects of science is not a pleasant thing. I had forgotten how commonplace such things as the dematerialization of solid objects had become to my own mind. What? I had forgotten how commonplace such things as the dematerialization of solid objects had come to my own mind. The coming and going of an etheric or spirit body has been so familiar to me these many years, I had just forgotten that such a manifestation could snap the mental balance of a man not so conditioned. I shall never forget those 48 hours at Morocco. Huh. I wish I knew what the hell was going on in this. That probably would have made it a little bit more enjoyable. Anyways, I'm freaking tired. So, I'm going to call it a night. Have a good one.